Welcome to another episode of Talking with Kevin and Son. This is a very special episode. Matter of fact, it's episode number 4, the real world or real world college life, featuring Mr. Stephen Hollander from Phoenixville, PA. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is a something special we're doing here at RMK Productions that we have been documenting students that have entered college or about to leave college, and we're telling their story. Stephen is a student at James Madison University. He's also an athletic student. He's a football player on the team. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Through the power of story, our mission is to uplift, share the voices and experience and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. Our purpose is hope, helping other people every single day. And for those of you that have been following us, you know that Stephen is a freshman at James Madison University. He was an outstanding student at Malvern Prep here in Pennsylvania. He was also part of many leadership programs. And today, with this episode, number 4, we're going to kind of catch up on where Stephen is right now. He's home for the holidays. We're going to talk about his football, his finals, growing up. I'm going to tell you, I just saw him a couple of weeks ago. There's a physical change to this man. I knew him as a boy a couple months ago, and now he's built like a man. We're also, if we're lucky, if we have time, we're going to talk about conversation of prime time, Mr. Deion Sanders, and the way the conversation is going on at the university level. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Eagles. Devastating loss for the Cowboys this weekend, but we keep hope alive. So, Stephen, welcome home, young man. Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you. It is nice to be back.
All right, give us an update. What's been going on? How was the end of the football season? How was going through your finals for the first time, and how was coming home after being away for so long?
Well, I mean, to start off, couldn't have ended the season on a better note. For those of you who may not know, we played JMU played Coastal Carolina on our last game of the season, and that was basically like our conference championship because we weren't eligible to play in a bowl game because the NCAA wouldn't let us play because this is our first year moving up to FBS. And those of you that also know, simply putting it, we kicked their butt. We absolutely shut them down. Coastal knows the entire college football knows that JMU is an FBS football program, and we're here to stay. And we're here to continue to dominate at a high level every week, week in and week out. JMU is here to stay.
And that's a big shout out to the first year that JMU, James Madison University, has been ranked as a Division I school, and they're kicking butt. And you're part of that uniform. What was your number, young man?
38.
38. 37 is a good number. I told you I had that once.
It was between 37 and 38. I chose 38.
That's okay. Hey, quick, how did I hear a lot of times that people don't play sports, or students don't participate in sports because of academics. How did you handle your academics while playing football?
So I think we'll talk about like finals in this sense.
Yes.
So as their season ended, it was kind of like finals week was coming on the corner. It was like I think we had like a week off, and then we were right back into like off-season training. So we had Coastal, then we had like not even a week off actually. We had like 5 days off, and the next week we were right back at it. So we had that week to train, and then the following week to train, and then finals, right? So 3 weeks preparing for finals, and for me, it was really just like, okay, now you have some free time. Let's lock in. Let's get your schoolwork done. Let's finish on a high note. And I mean, football really didn't go anywhere. I mean, like you take out practice, but like you still got workouts, conditioning, and all that stuff. You don't really take out football out of your life, so it's still there and prominent. And it was definitely difficult to continue to want to balance school and football, but I think having football around and having those workouts and conditioning and holding myself accountable to show up, it also holds me accountable to show up to class and get my work done. So I think I've turned into a very productive student because of my athletics, and I thank it because I know a lot of students who don't go to class, who don't show up for tests, and who just cram in the night before and have final, hoping that they do well, and they don't hold themselves accountable for school whatsoever. So I thank football for that.
All right. Now, Stephen, I saw you last week just before the Christmas holiday. And I know
Right.
for me as a parent, when my oldest son went off to school and he came home, the adjustment for a dad is sending out my son, a child, into college and then having him come home a man. I'm gonna tell you, you know what happened when you touched me on my shoulder when we were at the health club. First thing I said, I was happy to see you, and then I go, "Damn, boy, you're big. You're big. You're
Oh
all
yeah,
jacked
man.
up." I said,
Oh
"Football
yeah.
did that to you? How did your parents receive the new Steven?"
So I was actually working out with my dad when I came home for the first time. And I was working out in the basement, and I wasn't even really working out. I was just kind of hanging out with him, and I just started. Like, I was like telling him one of the workouts we did, and how like at the end of the workout, we finished the workout, and our coach brings us in. He goes, "All right, everybody, we got 100 curls," and everyone was just like, "Excuse me." Like 100 straight curls. So I was telling him about that, and I was doing it with him, and I took my shirt off, and he goes, "Hold on, what did he asked me? He's like, what do they give you?" And I'm like, man, these workouts just like he was. My dad was absolutely shocked when he first saw me when I had like just shown him what they've done, and I tell you, it's definitely you can definitely feel it because they man, we work hard. Like, and it's not even just James Madison, but it's every Division 1 athletic program. We work hard in the weight room and they take pride in it. The coaches and the strength and conditioning program that we're given is elite level, and I love it, and I'm buying into the entire program.
Well, I will tell you, when your mind and your body is strong, everything else follows. I'm gonna say, I do this for a living. I'm impressed. I am
Thank you,
impressed.
sir.
In a short amount of time, the way you packed on, and still your head's still pretty much together. It's still pretty much together. Um, Home with the family. What's the holidays been like?
Man, it's been so awesome to come home and just be home and just be with my family. And I got family here right now. They just showed up about an hour ago, who I haven't seen in about a year or two. So it's really nice to just come home and just see my family, my extended family, and just spend the time with them because I really cherish it. I think those are the people who keep me going in life. So when I come home to see them and they're just so excited to see me, really it makes me want to work harder.
You're such a good kid. You're such a good young man. I gotta quit calling you a kid. I've known you way too long. I feel like you're part of my family. Hey, I do want to ask this question. I have a couple students that we are doing the same experiment with the podcast, telling their stories. They're
Hmm.
either juniors or seniors about to graduate from college, and the conversation is a little bit different, but it's almost the same as yours.
Right.
There are in the sports world, a conversation is going on. I'm just curious to see on the college level what the conversation is in regards to Coach Deion Sanders and his transfer from
Right.
Jackson State and him accepting the position at Colorado State, and
Right.
uh, and what your feelings are on the whole conversation. Let's. I know we talked about it in person, but let's talk about it.
Mhm. Well, for me, I think for every athlete at Colorado State, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's phenomenal for Colorado State University. And I think it's a great move because it's pushing these young it's Dion is coming to a school who's not very good, finished 11-1 1-11 that season, my fault. And he's coming in, he's bringing guys with him to make the program into a winning program, into a winning culture like what he did at Jackson State. So I think it's phenomenal.
Well, I'm going to do something for you. Hopefully, you're open for it.
Go for it.
There's a young man by the name of I think he played for the Eagles, and he went to some other team. I won't mention that. Asante Samuels.
Mhm.
We're setting up an interview. You know, I may have a seat for a co-host. Um, I'm going to ask you. I don't know if you're going to accept because I'm going to ask him because in my mind, they say who's the best cover two cornerback that has ever played in the NFL. Deion Sanders' name pops up. Asante Samuel's name pops up. Who's the best cornerback that has ever played that position or the best football player. I personally have met Bo Jackson and say that if he had played in his career, this conversation wouldn't exist. So I would like to have you when as soon as I schedule that for you to come on and be my co-host because I know you know who he is.
Mm.
Is that a yes?
100%. I'd be honored to come on and be a co-host with you.
All right, maybe he'll give you some tips because
For
still in my
sure.
heart. I don't know how you feel.
No,
I think you can play football on the next level. You have the heart, desire, the
appreciate it.
work ethic, and I know it's a holiday. You've got family here. I just wanted to wrap up the holiday year. To young people, both academic students, because a lot of them are going through the first quarter or semester, and they're probably going to end up on academic probation. Um, a lot of athletes are going through their first season, are questioning if they're coming back for the second season. And a lot of students have just struggled with being away from home. So, if you were to give any advice to not only students at JMU, but just students that are in college for the first time, what advice would you give them? So, Stephen Hollander, I'm going to leave that up to you.
You know, I think I said this to one of my friends. I said to her, I said, because she was in a similar scenario as me, where we're kind of still trying to find trying to find our place at college. And I told her, we're not all in the same boat. We're all in the same yacht because there's so many of us who are in a similar situation. And we got to continue to work, got to continue to have a good mindset when we come in and just continue to put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, you're not gonna improve. You're not gonna you're not gonna get you're not gonna find friends. You're not gonna find a group. You gotta put yourself in some uncomfortable situations.
That's well
You know what I
said.
mean? I mean,
That is well
yeah.
said.
What do you
Uh,
think about
huh?
what do you think about a student who kind of hasn't found their uh place yet at college? Like
Well, I'm
you-
God, you're asking me questions. Yeah, this is your show. um, I've been a student. I've been a
Mhm.
student athlete. I also broke up with a young lady when I was at college because she was on academic probation. Because I was always taught that my grandparents told my sisters you can't get with them unless you had a college degree. So I adapted that same mentality that nothing was going to stand in my way. There are a lot of things that happen during the course of a season, especially while you're in college. My uncle Bill was murdered New Year's Eve. Going into the winter quarter, I basically should have been kicked out of school, and I would say Central State University and the personnel there were by far the best people in the world because I got straight D's and wasn't even listed on academic probation. These individuals refused to let me fail. And because of my commitment to them and their commitment to me and them seeing potential, I decided not to let anyone down. It takes a very different breed of person to look at yourself in the mirror and answer, who am I? And come up with the truth and then live as an example of that truth. So I would say to any college student that basically got away from home and ran away from home and experienced college life where girls discovered boys, boys discovered girls, when it realized that no one's going to get you up in the morning and no one's going to tell you when to go to bed. It's easier to get your studies done before the test is due. And it's easier to surround yourself with people that are going places than the people that are going to be in the same place where they are today, where they will be tomorrow. So I'm glad you asked that question. I hope you don't have seven more, but if you do, go ahead. I'll answer them.
I love that. That's a good answer. I like that. It's easy to surround yourself with people who, or you should surround yourself with people who are going places, but it's easy to surround yourself with people who aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a little something that I'm going to give you a little tidbit of the next book that I'm writing, and
Hmm.
hopefully it will resonate with you. And I'm going to ask you not to share it because I've always wanted to write a book that was like Dr. Seuss. It was given. This book was given to me. All the places we will go was given to me by a child when I was moving from Cleveland, Ohio, and accepting the position I was going to be on a soap opera. And she told me she was going to miss me. But when I had suffered my last concussion, couldn't remember anything, it taught me how to read and write and also how to put words together again. So I've always said I wanted to write a book that was like All the Places We Would Go by
Mm.
Dr. Seuss. And my sister passed away last week, my baby sister. And
Sorry to
I had a couple of days when I couldn't sleep and I saw a picture of her, and she was sitting on my lap, and I had this conversation with you, um, and I told her, I said, I got to go out and get the world ready for you because the world's not ready. You got greatness within you. I've said this to you of seeing you, and I've said it to every child, and every person I've ever mentored that has showed potential. And an hour later, I had written a whole book. I had made some typos, but I wrote with behind the tears, and I'll share that with you. So um, life is a challenge in general. Life is a struggle, and some of us, um, carry the weight better than others, and others get buried by the weight that's being placed upon them.
Mhm.
It's how you carry it. Your conversation and the reason why you're even here is because the way you carry that weight forward. And I'm hoping that your story and your shared experiences lands on someone that doesn't have the support system that you have, because I didn't. I have my teammates, I have my fraternity brothers. So I surrounded myself with great people that were going places. All right.
Mhm.
Don't ever follow anyone that's leading you into a dark hole. Follow someone that's leading by example to where the light is. I know you're going to make it to the next level. You've got great parents, you've got a great support system. And the other thing, you believe in your own greatness because you have
Yeah.
greatness within you. And this podcast and myself, we got to go out and get the world ready for you because the world's just not ready for you, Stephen Hollander.
No, sir.
All right. So, unless you have another
Just-
question, we're going to let you get back to your family. Enjoy your time at home. To our listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you like what you have heard, please continue to follow Stephen Hollander. And how do people get in touch with you, Stephen?
You can follow my Instagram at Stephen underscore Hollander. So shoot me a DM. I always reply. I'll always reply to anybody's DM. Um, or you can shoot me an email even at sjhollander21 at gmail.com. It's probably the best couple ways to contact me if you're interested in just having a conversation. I love talking to people. So I'm a social guy.
All right, all right. And for those of you that have not followed us, you can go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page. You can follow us and subscribe. If you know someone that is a student, either entering college or about to graduate from college, or just need to have a conversation that would like to have their own podcast and their story told, you can reach out to us at info@rmkproductions.org. Stephen, we appreciate you. Welcome home. We'll see you next month with any updates of surviving the winter at JMU and see what's going on. Maybe you'll talk about some of the places um, that you'll go to on campus, so incoming freshmen or transfer students will know where the safe places to go, what's cool to do on campus, and and just to our listeners, I thank you 1,000 times over. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place where you can help someone else, it is your duty to do so. Reach one, teach one, and we'll fade the black. Thank you.